things were talking through different people. And since I was growing into being myself, if I ever became angry or whatnot, the scientists couldn't stop whatever I directed, pushed from me. They couldn't stop it. I'm the only person that they cannot stop. They can redirect it, but they can't stop it. Anybody else, they can stop it. They can cut the thought off, but they can't do that with me. So what they did, they caused me to become very fond of the sister because what they were telling me through her. And when I would go off out of her presence and do something, or something would kind of upset me and make me kind of angry, and I start to address it, then I would call her, and she could hardly talk. So after I finally figured out what was happening, they was directing the anger that I was directing to somebody else, to her. So she wasn't supposed to tell me what they were doing. I was supposed to figure it out. That was to put me in check not to do that. You know, I don't have to be angry with nobody because I got the power to do what I want to do. So I don't have to be angry. I got one person I would be angry with, that's all. That's Satan himself. Satan himself. Anybody other than that, I don't have no anger with them. You know, I can be disappointed. If I get angry, it's momentarily and I don't put nothing out. Right? So after I finally figured out what was happening, and I said, I asked her, I said, because I'm putting out this kind of energy, it's coming back to you. She said, oh, thank God you figured it out. Because you killing me. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I went out to California again. The man that I worked with, he was the real Job that was in the Bible. You might say, well, how is that?
How is that?
People do come and go. You know, just because you're here now, I don't mean this is the first time you've been here. So the entity that Job was back then, the fullness of it was him. Then I was working with him. He had made me so angry. I called up, I tried to get him, and I couldn't get him. I got his wife. So, you know, I told her what to tell him and make sure let him know I'm going to be calling back. However, I just made it into Needles, California. It was so hot, and the phone was on the outside. When I picked the phone up to put it to my ear, it almost burnt the ear. That's how hot it was. It was 118 degrees. And so I wasn't pleasant even when I picked the phone up. So I went on down to Barstow, and I said, well, let me call, her name was Mary. I said, let me call Mary and tell her what that rascal did. I forgot. So when I called her, they said, she's in the hospital. I said, what? I said, oh God, oh. I don't put her in the hospital. That was the kicker. Right? From that day up to then, I didn't do that no more. When I called back again, she's gone. She'd passed. So that really put me in check. Right. Quit playing with that, you know.
Right.
So those are some of the things that really took place. And I went to California again, and I had a brother with me that, the same person that I was telling you about, Job. Right. Job was a rascal. Everybody that worked for him except me, I mean, he was giving them hell. So they were taking huge equipment. Some people would go out and leave it, quit on the job, and get a plane back and leave the truck, and I have to go get it. You know, a whole bunch of stuff that confusion develops. So this brother was catching hell, and he had a family. I said, well, you can go on that with me. So just like you asking me questions, he started asking me questions. I started telling him. So he got all spooky and everything. He wanted to get out of the truck. I said, okay, I won't tell you no more. So he kind of kept quiet. I did too. So that was the first, I drove truck for something like 27 years. That was the first load of lemons I ever hauled. I picked it up in Barstow, Oxford, California, going to Montreal, Canada. I'd already seen where I was going to have an accident. But I thought, it looked like when I had it, it looked like it was in Pennsylvania. But I thought to myself, that ain't gonna happen. I'm too good at that. I don't have accidents like that. In the vision, it showed where, when I was about to have it, a mysterious fog came up. I couldn't see the road. And at the speed I was traveling, I couldn't stop, before I could actually see where I was going. And according to the vision, I ran off the road, and I had a brother with me in the sleeper. And I was bumping, and the truck was jerking and everything, going down like the cliff.
Right.
And he was holding on in the sleeper. Holding on, just bouncing. So what really happened, on the way back, we got to Grant City, New Mexico. I started driving. He drove to there, and then I started driving. I went and had some, while we switched drivers, I went and had some strawberry shortcake. You know, they had the strawberries with the biscuit and ice cream and whatnot. And I ate that, and I got back in the truck and took off. And I don't think I got no more than maybe about 25 or 30 miles. And the weather was nice. And they were working on the road, doing a lot of construction on the road.
Right.
And they had no shoulder. They had dug up, I mean, it literally was like that far drop from the pavement.
Okay.
And they had signs all up and everything, no shoulder, whatnot. And all of a sudden, here come this misty fog. It was like snowflakes, but it was real, real fine. And it come and blocked off everything. I couldn't see nothing. So I said, man, and I hit a bump. Bam! When I hit the bump, I swerved, well, I seen it, but I was right up on it when I seen it. And then everything went blank. So when I swerved and missed it, I ran off to the side. Right down through the medium. I couldn't pull it back on, so I said, well, I'll go across to the other side and stop it. I went to go across, and it was another pole or something in the medium that ripped the steering wheel. I couldn't steer it. It went across the highway and parked on the other side of the highway. Looking at it, looked like nothing was wrong. But the whole undercarriage was tore out. So when I got out, you know, it knocked all these teeth, you know, real loose and everything. It was bad anyhow. So should I be saying all this?
Yeah.
All right, these are some of the things that happened before I actually, you know, came to a standstill. And matter of fact, I was already told, don't drive no more.
How old were you at this time?
At that time, oh man, I don't even know now. I must have been, what, 38, 40, 42, something like that.
Okay.
Anyhow, I pulled across, and then the steering wheel, you know, from all the back, and he was in the sleeper. And it was just the way it showed it. He was back there, just back. He never came out. He was holding on. But he was up and down and whatnot, but he stayed back there. So when the truck came to rest, he was all right. But I had him went up the steering wheel, you know, hit me in the mouth, whatnot.